We all know that Halloween from 1978 is deemed a classic, but does it really hold up?
The answer is it absolutely does. Stay tuned.
Okay, bye. All right, that was it. What's up, everyone? I am Wink.
And I am Skillz.
And this is Scream Cheese. Today we are talking about the classic 1978 film Halloween, directed by John Carpenter, starring Jamie Lee Curtis, Donald Pleasence, and Nick Castle. I'm not sure I remember. What is this movie about exactly?
It's hard to describe because it's so basic, but it's a guy who killed his sister when he was younger. He's in a mental institute and he escapes. He goes on a killing spree, and as he's doing this, his doctor is on the pursuit trying to track him down. And this all happens on Halloween night.
So obviously this is a very, very important film to slashers and just like horror in general. And I had seen a lot of this film, but I realized when I sat down last night and watched it, I have never sat down and watched this movie from start to finish. There were actually parts of the movie that I had never seen, which is crazy. I am a huge fan of slasher movies. That is one of my favorite genres. And I guess I always accepted this to be true, but now that I've watched it, it's ridiculous how many slasher tropes were born out of this one movie. Literally, like everything that we see in every slasher that literally happened in this movie.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's kind of where it all started. It's simplicity at its finest. It was a very low budget film. Everything about this, it feels like the stars aligned, because on paper, at the time, if you would have looked at this, you would have probably thought, and people did think, what is this? You know, okay, a little low budget film, a guy gets out, kills people, whatever. This not only gave birth to an entire franchise, but it like gave birth to slashers and horrors moving forward. And it gave birth to one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic, horror villain in Michael Myers. After this, everybody started copying this to this day. This like set the standard of a slasher, slash horror film. It's trying to tap into that part of our minds and our psyche, that fear of like, there's this guy and he's coming to kill you and there's nothing you can do to stop him. John Carpenter and Debra Hill together were incredible. He wrote all the horror aspects of it, all the like plot, Dr. Loomis, Michael Myers, and then Debra came in and wrote all the scenes with the females. It just gelled. It was perfect. They created a classic. Also, the score of the film to me is like so important because the Halloween theme is like we're just going to be repeating things, legendary, classic, whatever. When John Carpenter had the first cut of the film done, they did present it to a small focus group, and it was just kind of a mixed feeling. He went back himself, created the score, put the score into it, and it changed everything. And it's something I've always believed in, that sound is just as important as the visual. And that score completely gave life to his vision, completely. The Mask, Jamie Lee Curtis, they put her in it. Donald Pleasence is Dr. Loomis. He's an iconic character. His obsession with Michael Myers and how he had the darkest eyes, the devil's eyes. And it's like, in a way, it's melodramatic and over the top, but Donald Pleasence pulls it off in a way where you believe it and you're sucked in. And you're like, my God, this guy is evil. And the great thing about the original one too was there was no motive. And that's hard to pull off these days. But at that point, it was scary because nothing had been done like it. And the idea that there's this guy killing these teenagers and we have no idea why he's doing it. And it's not even like your typical serial killer kind of motive. He was just a killing machine and he locked on to these certain people and that was it. He was going to kill all of them. It's also chilling. And again, if you lived during that time, it was just incredible. I don't have enough good things to say about it, but
I've been inundated with the legend of like who Michael Myers is, and I've seen parts of it. I do wish that I could have seen it when it came out, because that is when it would have had the most impact. And in fact, I would say like having seen this version of it and seeing some of the sequels, as you know, I haven't seen all of them, especially with these like really newer ones, they are doing the exact same thing they were doing back then, but they did it masterfully back then, but they have more than mastered it today. So like they're taking this thing that like they understood pretty well, and today they're presenting it even crazier and more fine-tuned, and I've become accustomed to how it is now. I was gonna say, one of the things things that's tough, probably for newer audiences, is how the pacing is so drawn out, so slow. I actually really enjoy it, but I think that audiences today need things so fast that like you couldn't do this today. You couldn't do it this way today. In fact, Skillz, like last night when I was like getting ready for bed, thinking about this movie, dude, I realized, and I don't know if you would agree, but you could actually tuck another entire film to happen parallel with this one. Between every scene, Michael Myers could be killing another neighbor somewhere. There could literally be an entire other story. It's so drawn out, and there's so much time that could be spent in between these scenes. Like, that would be a brilliant thing to do. A parallel prequel, something that's happening where you could see Jamie Lee Curtis in the background, you know?
I would love that. Now, they did that a little bit in the most recent in Halloween Kills. They did flashback scenes that were so good. I have my issues with the film, but the flashback scenes to me were a 10 out of 10 because it felt like it was from the original. And exactly what Wink's talking about is they showed other things going on amongst like this film taking place, but that would actually be a great way to go about it. Is
it would be
showing all the stuff, you know, all the downtime, because Michael is a killing machine, and there could be a whole other story. Like in the original Halloween, we're focusing on Jamie Lee Curtis, but there could have been another main character in, you know, another house that she's the main character of that story.
Exactly. So, just like the score, even the font in the beginning, everything
it's classic, dude. Everything.
And I would say even the opening shots, just you start feeling the look of the film, like everything just feels like Halloween, and everything feels kind of scary, and everything just feels like it's just kind of clicked in.
They captured the essence of the Halloween holiday, which is something that people complain about future films that they don't.
I think you have to have kids if it's going to be Halloween. Having kids somehow includes the spirit of Halloween. I was going to say, one of my issues is that I am from Illinois, and this takes place in Illinois. And while they did pick neighborhoods that do look like Midwest-ish, but it seemed pretty clear to me that this was probably shot in like Los Angeles. I think I caught like mountains in the background that are not in Illinois. And then like a couple of the houses had like plants that were like, I never saw those growing up. But I don't know.
Again, we're talking about a very low budget, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, dude, the budget was so low that there was no leaves. So they had to go somewhere else to get a bag of leaves, and the set directors or whatever had to put leaves down, and then they had to scoop all those leaves back up. But the point is that they were able to capture the essence of Halloween, and to me, that's like my favorite holiday. So when you go into a film and you see like the kids trick-or-treating and the Halloween, the other thing they did that was brilliant at the time, you have to think nothing like this had been done before, is the idea of on Halloween night, a killer wearing a Halloween mask. It's going to be very hard to catch him. Like, it's everybody's wearing masks. Everybody has costumes on, and this guy's just kind of roaming around amongst everybody else. He's not killing the kids, but he's roaming around killing people, and it's in such a small time frame that it would be really difficult for authorities to like get this guy, you know? So that was awesome as well.
I know this is your favorite horror movie. How do you rate it out of 10? What do you give this movie?
I loved it the first time I saw it as a kid. I watched it too many times to count. It's like a major part of my life, blah, blah, blah. I love it to death. Of course, I would recommend it to any and everybody, but I give it a 10 out of a 10, obviously.
Wow, that's insane. It is a perfect film.
It is to me. This is obviously there's nostalgia, and there's, you know, again, I saw this as a little, like 8 years old, I saw this. So, and this is like the beginning of horror slasher films, which I love. So yeah, it's a 10 for me, no doubt.
All right, my dude, I agree that this one is a near perfect film. The only thing is, it's become outdated to a degree. It's perfectly classic, but I'm gonna give it an 8.7.
That's awesome.
Let us know what you think of the movie Halloween, and if we've got it all wrong. Also, let us know any other movies that we should check out and talk about. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time. Peace out, cheesers.
Peace.